Hello there, I have another fountain pen to show you. This one is a cheap one from China. I bought it from AliExpress for like $4. It's a completely clear demonstrator type of pen. It even has a little rubber seal in there to keep the ink in. You can completely fill up the pen body with ink if you so desire. Comes with this little eyedropper, which unfortunately is not the eyedropper it showed on the product when I bought it. This is a more cheaper one-piece kind of thing. And it also comes with this piston converter. Isn't that fantastic? Comes with a little shaker in the piston as well, in the form of a little coiled spring. Screw that back on there. And the nib I got for it was the extra fine model, because I like fine pens. It also comes with fine as well. So I think they define extra fine as 0.38, because this pen is called the Tarmol F10 0.38 transparent clean fountain pen. And then after that just says the usual related buzzwords to do with pens of every kind you could possibly imagine. You know how they usually advertise these things on the So we have two options. We can put ink directly in the pen, or we can put it in a piston converter. Oh, so many decisions. I'm going to do a bit of both. I will put platinum carbon ink in the piston converter because it's kind of expensive, and I will put the cheaper Parker Quink ink in the body of the pen. So let's inject some ink in here. That'll do just a little bit. There we go. What's going on here? I cannot put this pen back together with the piston converter in it. What's happening? Oh, it's this O-ring. What if I remove the O-ring? Oh, now it works. That's not a very good design. I had to remove this little rubber O-ring to use the piston converter. See, this might take a while for the ink to come all the way down. Yes, I think this pen would have preferred it if I sucked up the ink with the piston converter through the nib. That's going to take far too long. I will force it down by twisting the piston converter. Right, this should work. Still nothing. It's a stubborn thing. Okay, it should be wet all the way through now. Oh yes, finally, we have ink flow. Now that we have ink flow, I can actually give you a proper evaluation. This nib here says extra fine, and extra fine, according to the description, is meant to be 0.38 millimeters. I have never found an extra fine nib that actually is 0.38 millimeters. It's always closer to like 0.5 millimeters. Like here is a 0.5 technical pen made by Staedtler. Anyway, and this here is the so-called 0.35 extra fine fountain pen. That's a lot thicker, sorry. But if you turn the pen upside down and use the underside of the nib, now we're talking. Then that's probably slightly thinner. When it's upside down, it's probably slightly thinner than 0.5 millimeters. So probably getting close to 0.38. How on earth did they come up with that figure? 0.38, it's so exact. I mean, there's liquid flowing out of a pen onto porous paper. How on earth could you estimate it to be 0.38? So far, the ink flow in this pen is excellent. It's really smooth. Not so smooth when it's upside down. Vaguely scratchy, but perfectly acceptable. Very smooth when it's the right side up. Posts very well. I cannot believe this was only $4. Yes, once again the Chinese have done it. They've made a really nice pen for next to nothing. I could happily draw with this pen all day. But I still haven't tried filling up the body with ink, so let's remove this cartridge and give that a go. Otherwise it might be a leaky pen body or something. Okay, so that's platinum ink. There's a lot of ink in this feed here. Let's put this O-ring back in. So let's put this O-ring back in the body of the pen somehow without losing it. Get this cheap and nasty eyedropper. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's a lot of ink. Oh yeah, look at all that ink. Excellent. Now you can draw for the rest of your life. Okay, rubber seal is working, I hope. Not getting any ink on my fingers, which is good. Now that looks like a pretty nice pen, doesn't it, with all that ink in it. Look at that. Oh yeah. Of course, I still have this platinum carbon black in the feed, so I will not be able to tell the difference for a while. Feels great. Looks great. Smooth plastic provides enough grip for a fountain pen, I find. It's not by any means a flex nib or anything. It's basically no difference in the line thickness, depending on how hard you press the nib onto the paper. Wow, it's the 20th of August already. I might just sit here and work on my fat rabbit designs for a little while. I'll just sit here and draw my life away. I think I'm rather tired for some reason. I can tell by the way I'm drawing. So lazy, carefree. I can always tell I'm tired when I start drawing really disconjointed imagery. So I just sat there for ages, scribbling away until my camera's battery went flat. I was hunched over a regular flat desk, not at my drawing desk, and I had forgotten. I was thinking, this isn't so bad really, drawing on a flat table. And then I quickly realised why I had put up a drawing desk up on a 45-degree angle, and my back started hurting again because I was really arched over. Apparently, the human body isn't meant to be bent at a right angle for long periods of time or something, some kind of nonsense like that. So anyway, what do I think of this pen? Now, initially, my experiences with this pen was incredibly positive. It wrote well, hardly any skipping, very smooth, looked great, didn't leak. But after using it for a few days, I realised I had to re-record this part of the audio that you're listening to now because I had a terrible, terrible experience with it. I decided to do some writing with it, so I uncapped the pen, posted it, sat down, I held it firmly in my hand, and then I just kind of got a bit distracted. I started looking at the computer and going, oh, I'll do some writing soon. And I had my warm hand wrapped around the pen, which must have heated up the ink inside just by like a degree or two, I don't know how much. And after probably 5 minutes of distractions, the pen started leaking. It leaked on my paper, 2 great big blobs of ink. So my theory is that as the pen heated up, it slightly pressurized and then ink then came out of the little breather hole. So yeah, that's happened twice so far. On the second occasion I was only loosely holding it in my fingers and it did that. Or maybe it grew jealous because I was looking at other pens on my computer at the time. Fancier, more expensive ones. So maybe it was like, can a fancy pen do this? And anyway, it's a bit weird. Because I even tried shaking the pen afterwards to see if I could make ink come out of it. I shook it and nothing came out. It's only after you hold it for a while, then the ink comes out. Maybe it's because the room that the pen is in is always on the cool side. Like if the room is like 12 degrees Celsius and could be quite a temperature difference between my hand and the room. Maybe it had just never been tested before in that kind of environment. Yeah, so quick temperature changes and pressure changes not recommended with this pen. It will probably leak everywhere. That's my theory anyway. So anyway, that's the story. It's a shame because I like this pen so much that I actually fill it up full of platinum carbon ink. I removed that Parker Quink ink and I filled it up to like 70%, thinking, oh, I'm going to use this pen a lot. And I used it for like a whole hour, I think, and it didn't leak. Confusing. Anyway, if you live in an environment where this pen doesn't leak, I would recommend it. Yes, it's a great pen. In fact, before it leaked, I had placed this pen on like the second best Chinese fountain pen I've ever purchased. Mostly based on its looks, I have to admit. I really did like that simplistic design with a pen body which is full of ink. It doesn't have any grip though, but I do find smooth plastic to be pretty grippy out of all the smooth materials you can pick out of. So, I mean, it's 100 times better than smooth metal. Whenever I see a pen made out of smooth metal and it doesn't have any knurling on it, I just run in the other direction. Still, my number one Chinese fountain pen I've purchased would have to be the Jinhao 777, which is a clear knockoff of that Lamy Safari pen, which is probably why it is so good for a Chinese knockoff, because they just try to copy a pen which is actually good. Every aspect of that Jinhao pen is better than this Tramol pen, just a little bit better, except for the amount of ink it holds, but I've never found that a refillable ink cartridge doesn't hold enough ink. They still last for ages. So honestly, I don't know why I wanted a pen that could hold that much ink in it anyway. I think in my search for good quality Chinese fountain pens, I have just managed to buy pens with unnecessary features. I mean, the less features you have, the less that can go wrong, so maybe I should just keep it simple. Okay, well there you go. Anyway, blah blah blah. Thus ends my review of this Tramol fountain pen that you can only buy from AliExpress. A pen so cheap and so obscure that probably no one else has bothered to review it yet, and probably no one else will ever watch this video because no one wants to buy it anyway, yet I still reviewed it, and you made it to the end of this video, so congratulations on watching a video about a pen that you're probably never going to purchase. Take care, keep drawing, and have a nice day.